Hello everybody and welcome to DonsTV. You join us here on what is an interchangeable weather, rain, thunder and a bit of sun as well, as Wimbledon take on recently relegated Forest Green Rovers. With a new manager in tow, what will the Dons have to put up against it today? I'm joined to my left by Rob Boyce and my right by Nick Draper. We come into this game obviously unbeaten off the back of a fantastic local rival win against Sutton United. And what a win that was. I think we're going to jump into some team news first off, at the time being 2 o'clock and it has just been released. There we go, graphic on the screen there. Looks unchanged from obviously the win last weekend. And yeah, I know you both were at Sutton, so what are your thoughts on that and sort of the team?
Well, you don't change your winning lineup, I guess.
Absolutely.
As simple, straightforward as that. Yeah, I think Johnny Jackson's always said, you know, if you're doing enough to earn your place, you're going to keep your place, and he's stuck by that.
Absolutely, and we've got a few players will be returning back to fitness soon, and I think that's almost real fighting talk from Johnny, and I'm really excited sort of to see now we've got quality coming back and players are sort of fighting for it on the pitch and showing they deserve to be in the team ahead of obviously a very big game coming up in midweek, which we'll obviously talk about later on. Rob, the bench there, I think we've got a graphic that we can pop on. Again, I believe that's unchanged. With obviously the youth of McLean and Sassu, Alex Pearce, Josh Davison, Harry Pell, Ball and Nick Zanev on the bench. I mean, subs were working last week. Harry Pell coming on with a lovely header of his first touch.
Yep.
What do you make of sort of our options this year now with some more squad depth?
You know what, it's nice to have options on the bench, you know, and it's nice to have experience on the bench as well. I think last year obviously we were a bit too young on the bench. And I think the big thing is that we've stumbled across a formation and a team which, you know, like I said, it's getting results at the moment, so there's no need to change it. No need to change the subs or anything. You know, and like I said, long way to continue, hopefully.
Absolutely. I don't know if we've got any opposition team news as of yet. However, I'm sure the big questions will be obviously the signing of Troy Deeney. I believe a week and a half ago, and obviously Alfie Bendel leaving us to join Forest Green as well. It'll be interesting to hopefully see him out on the pitch today after falling down the pecking order with us. Obviously with what was a massive overhaul of our midfield in the summer. With those 10 new arrivals, most of them were sort of strengthening the first team. So I think there was 11 players in the squad with sort of competition to fight for.
Yeah, and I think Alfie got a few minutes, I think, last week for Forest Green, came on as a sub late on. So yeah, it'll be good to see him today, and I'm sure he'll be wanting to prove a point if he does get on.
He's on the bench. There we go, confirmation there from Spike behind the camera that Alfie Bendel's on the bench today. So it'll be good to see him get some minutes, maybe. Oh, and Troy Deeney as well. There we go. So maybe some strengthening from the bench as we've seen that we're quite strong in the last half hour though, so hopefully won't be too much of a. Hopefully we'll be up 3-0 up by then. So,
well, obviously we'll have more energy anyway because we're not vegan like they are, so you know they'll tire out after about 45 minutes. But no, it'll be interesting to see because as we say, I think Forest Green 3 defeats in their first 4. It's always a bit of a hangover sometimes when you get relegated. I think we did all right actually last season to begin with, but commonly you see teams struggle to start with, and their only away game so far I think they actually won. So.
Maybe a 100% win record in
away from home. So.
I think also as well, not only obviously did Forest Green get relegated and changed a lot of their players, got to bear in mind, changed manager 2-3 times. You know, they had Duncan Ferguson. I remember they had the interim women's manager as well, and now obviously got their new manager. So they probably haven't had the best pre-season. And then when you factor in, you know, they've made a lot of signings recently. You know, Alfie Bendel, Troy Deeney. You know, they're probably still finding their feet in this division. So it's probably a good time for us to play them, in my opinion.
Absolutely, especially off the back of our performances so far. One man I think that stands out for everyone at the moment, James Tilley. What a player he's been for us so far, and I can't see him not either scoring or assisting today and playing a big role.
It just shows you, doesn't it? Like it comes down for me for moments in games because last week against Sutton it was a great win, but actually for long spells it wasn't the best game for either side. The quality was lacking, but then we just see in James Tilley and Jake Reeves at the end as well, just moments of quality change games, and that's what James Tilley's done for us for the last week. What was it? Well, it's 4 goals in 3 games, isn't it? And and an assist at the end as well. So to get us underway with the opening goal. So yeah, a little bit out of nowhere. I thought we were sort of not expecting him to hit the ground running so quickly. I don't think.
No, I think we knew of his quality seeing him for Crawley, and people had spoken about him being good, but I don't think anyone expected him to sort of come in and really sort of. You know, he's kind of set the league on fire a little bit. You know, 4 goals and 3 for a winger is never a bad return, and I think his overall impact, sort of his ability to take the man on and also that's with him playing out wide. Then you've got obviously Omar Bujil coming in and really sort of stamping his mark on back lines. I don't think there is any centre half in the league that would want to take him on in a one-on-one, and that's what we've needed. I think allows Ali a bit more freedom, and obviously those wingers, Josh Nerfel, obviously one to mention as well. Fantastic performances. I think him and Tilly can link up really nicely, and yeah.
I think we've got a real mix of pace and power up front now, which was kind of the 2016 blueprint. I don't know if Craig Cope looked at that and thought that is the blueprint to copy, but when you look at our 2016 team, you had Bartram flying on the wing, now we've got Neuville flying on the wing. You had pace up front, we've got Ali up front, you've got a target man in Bugel. Tilly, it's got that moment of class. Obviously Jake Reeves is back, so yeah, I think the big thing for us, you said Tilly hit the ground running. I think just getting the signings in early and that trip to Benidorm seems to be a key factor.
Jackson said midweek in the AFC Wimbledon official podcast that he wanted to get players in before the trip to Benidorm to make sure, there's no point signing 2 new players, going out there and coming back with signing 5 and then not gelling and that sort of thing. So I think that's maybe why we haven't seen too much of Ball just yet. So obviously he joined us quite late and maybe waiting for that. And again, like you said earlier, don't fix something that's clearly working. Our squad's working, and when he comes on, it's been good to have a midfielder of his quality and experience.
Yeah, and I think you look at the bench as well, and in forward areas, okay, Ball's more of a sort of defensive midfielder, but you look on the bench, you've got McLean, you've got Sassi, you've got Harry Pell, you've got Josh Davison, all kind of, like Rob said, a variety of different strengths, different options that we've got. You don't want to get too carried away because we're still in August, but when you compare and you look back, especially the second half of last season, it's such a stronger position that we're in with the squad depth, and we just hope it continues.
Absolutely. It's currently frozen on our screen here, but I think we are still live. I think we can grab the team lineup there for Forest Green. There we go. Confirmation that Bendel and Deeney are on the bench.
But the front 2 there, Stevens and Taylor. I mean, that's quality. I
think they've signed well. I'm surprised to see them sort of lower half the table. But like you said, it might have been a bit hangover from last year. I think we saw elements of that in sort of when we relegated the season before last. I think we saw that sort of catching up with us a little bit later down the line. Obviously with not a great January and sort of struggling to fire after that. So they're probably just experiencing that, sort of finding their feet in League One and League Two are two very different divisions.
Yeah, massively.
Obviously much more physical this year. So I'm interested. It's lovely kit as well, I have to say.
Well,
it's a nice kit.
Yeah, I'm not. It's a bit different, I'd say, is the word you're looking for. But I am at least pleased that they are playing in more of a green colour. When we first played them, going 15 years back now.
The last time we played them in the league, it's the first time we played them in the league. So
yes.
I think the last time we played them was obviously in a non-league game.
We played them in the FA Cup, of course, in 2015. But before that, it was in the league, and they played in black and white, and I could never get my head around that because they're called Forest Green, so you'd expect them to be playing in green, but
full green.
Green. But
what we'll do, whilst I think we are having a couple of camera issues, we'll jump into some highlights, I think, of that fantastic midweek victory over Coventry City in the Carabao.
A chance for a cup scout this evening as SkyBet League Two side AFC Wimbledon hosts Coventry City, with the Championship club coming to South London tonight on the back of a frustrating defeat on the road in their league curtain raiser against Coventry happy to now try and send the long ball over the top, looking for plenty that they've got forward. That's a lovely turn on the edge of the area by Wright. Did well to get the Sakamoto wanted it, he was missed, and instead it forces a fine save from Tsanev. The effort from Hamer. Lovely ball around the edge of the 18-yard box. That's an ugly challenge in on Wright. Penalty given. Haji Wright, the American, in his first start for his new club. Booking. And a chance now for Matt Godden to open the scoring. Beautifully into the bottom corner. Coventry have provided all the early pressure, and Matt Godden provides them with the early advantage after 17 minutes. They were hoping for a fairly routine night tonight, the SkyBet Championship side. It's looking very comfortable. Godden in behind again, and a very good save once more from the keeper. Nikola Tsanev has been the busier of the two shot stoppers by far. And that perhaps the best save of the first half he's been forced into. Tilly coming the other way though. The host quick to turn defence into attack. Tilly going alone. Beaten away by Collins. Kelly thought about pulling the trigger, decided against it. Hamer has a go. And Sanev once more gets down quickly to it. And towards that near post, dangerous flick on it too. There's Lee Brown with the fire. Lays it off, gets it back with a little bit more room if he can just keep it in, which he does. It's not a bad delivery in either. Beaten away by Sanev. Bidwell. Second chance for him. No way through. Edge of the attacking third. Lovely turn by the American. Had a little bit of room, found a teammate as well, and Sanev somehow keeps it out. Taking the long route to find some space. There's a little more space further forward for the forward. Right. Takes a deflection, and it could have looped over Sanev. It's getting late now. We've seen very little from the hosts in terms of a reply tonight. A little bit of space on this near side. It's not a bad delivery towards the top of the 18-yard box. Oh, it's beautiful. Omar Bugil smashes it home from the edge of the area. And somehow, some way, the SkyBet League Two side are level. Right at the death. 4 minutes of normal time to play. An inspired change, perhaps. It's done the business. Game on, and perhaps penalties are calling tonight. Bit of momentum suddenly with the hosts. Oh, it's a beautiful finish! Ryan McLean! A first goal on his AFC Wimbledon debut. And he took it in expert fashion. Just guides it past the keeper with the instep. A worthy way of winning any cup tie and taking a sky for Sakamoto's effort. Chief inside. Kelly. Does he pull the trigger? Does he try to find a teammate? It's a very good save again by Sanev. Last chance saloon. That's a full-time whistle. The Cherry Red Records Stadium erupts in ecstasy as SkyBet League Two AFC Wimbledon topple Coventry City of the SkyBet Championship. Late strikes from Bugil and McLean do the damage, and Coventry are safe home and out of the Carabao Cup. It finishes here. AFC Wimbledon 2, Coventry City 1.
Many people were expecting it, but it's more than welcome. What's your reaction to that?
Yeah, just like buzzing. I mean, an unbelievable end to the game. The energy, the atmosphere in the stadium, and the scenes at the end when we scored the winner. And then, yeah, it's just a great night, and it's a great night for the club. It's what this football club wanted when it came back to Plough Lane under the lights. Something special about it in there. So just buzzing for my players, the staff, but I think most importantly supporters. You know, to have a night like that, haven't had low since we come back here, so they deserve that.
You start.
There we go. That was highlights from our last Carabao Cup game. Obviously, victory 2-1 over Coventry with Ryan McLean scoring a sensational last-minute goal. And yeah, so joined obviously now by Chris Thorpe. How you doing, Chris? All good?
Yeah, not too bad. How are you guys?
Fantastic.
Well, thank you. Very good.
Obviously, you mentioned the Carabao Cup there. Obviously, a big game in midweek now against Chelsea. Don't want to get away from today's game, but I think it's on a lot of people's minds. What was the result reaction like at the club when you saw the draw come through?
So, for me personally, I couldn't get down to the pub to watch it with everyone else. So, luckily, we had the TV on here in the concourse, and I was watching it with Stu. And it came down to the last four. Newport was still in there. And, you know, no disrespect to Newport, I kind of preferred the trip to Stamford Bridge than Rodney Parade. So yeah, no, I was overjoyed, and as you can imagine, all the players are looking forward to it. But first and foremost, let's get a win today and let's focus on the league.
Yeah, carrying on, obviously impressive form, as you mentioned earlier in the show, unbeaten and looking quite imperious at the back as well. Obviously, you're doing your Dons Uncovered stuff as well. How fun's that been, sort of seeing that sort of aspect of training and stuff and giving that to the fans?
Yeah, really good. I think it helps that the players and the staff really embrace it. They've always been really open in terms of wanting to do new things. You know, we've done stuff with Johnny being mic'd up for a session. We've done obviously the interview at his house, which has obviously gone down really well. And then also the work we've done around the new kits, I think, has helped to build up the really good atmosphere around the club and just giving fans as much insight as possible. I think that's essentially what our job is. So we'll continue to do that as best we can.
And it's, I feel like there's a real energy almost around the squad at the minute. The players we've brought in, there's just seems something very Wimbledon. How much easier does that make your job? Having sort of a good buzz. It must be nice to chat about clean sheets, goals, and just fun really.
Yeah, I think we've all experienced our fair share of like lows in the past few seasons. I don't really like talking about it too much, just because we're moving on now, and the 10 new signings have changed the dynamic completely. And I think you also got to say people like Danny Macklin, Craig Cope have come in and have really helped to drive change as well. So all of that helps, and it does make things easier when you're winning and doing well, doesn't it?
Absolutely. I think there was a comment you were going to grab from...
Yeah, we're just saying about how well we started the season, and we sort of commented, I think, forgive me, viewers, Adam Pillman, I think, mentioned about maybe an early goal today. We've talked about we've not scored a goal in the first half yet, but you think Forest Green coming into it low on confidence, as you say, 3 defeats out of 4 so far. We're coming into it with huge confidence, in the camp. They must be really confident, just raring to go at the moment. You really want to get an early start today, don't you? Really put them under pressure early, try and get an early goal, and knock any remaining last little bit of belief out of maybe Forest Green. Try and get this one tied up nice and early.
Yes, it's interesting. You look at the Colchester and Sutton games. We had a lot of chances in the first half. We just didn't quite convert them. But luckily, we sort of kept that momentum going into the second. Obviously, had to weather through a few iffy stages where Colchester hit the post, Sutton hit the post. So we kind of relied on the woodwork, maybe a tiny bit, but I think overall the performance has been so convincing, and just the amount of chances we're creating, you're bound to score eventually. So yeah, early goal would be nice, but I'd take late goals all the same.
Any goal is a good goal.
Yeah,
absolutely. There you go, some live footage there of the players coming out onto the pitch to what was quite a loud applause from the fans, even though most of them stood in the fan zone. So
I'm not sure.
Very much up to
not sure where that clapping came from.
Thank you for spike behind the camera again. Getting excited over the players coming out, and it's so nice to feel the buzz around Plough Lane. I think the sort of noise at Sutton as well, sort of the way it was. Luckily, massively. I was in amongst it, and it was just so nice to have some positivity, some real. And hopefully, I think that obviously drives the players on massively. You probably see the impact of that in training and that sort of stuff, and how it has been for your guys then.
Yeah, I mean, with the lads, they're always asking, how many are we taking to this away game? What's the game against Sutton going to be like? New players will ask like what it's going to be like, because they know it's a derby, that kind of thing. I think they've had like the best sort of proof of what our fans are really capable of in terms of creating that atmosphere, but also showing them a lot of love. Like, I feel like as the fans get to know a lot of these new lads more, have become even more close to them. People like Omar, James Tilley. On the podcast the other day, I thought it was brilliant insight into him as a person. He's, as he says, he's not the loudest off the pitch. He does the talking on the pitch, which is what we want. But yeah, they're all really great guys, really good personalities, and all different, which really helps. And plus, getting them together before the pre-season game started in Spain, it really helped. So we couldn't have got much better, really.
Yeah, and I was going to make the point sort of about getting to know the players and sort of getting an insight into who they are helps bring them closer to the fans. And we've done that with the official podcast. James Tilley's mentioned, I see in the programme as well. Armani Little today, really good interview with them. But on that note, the programme this season. So we're trying to up some sales for it, and it started well. Very interesting this afternoon's edition.
Yes.
Can you let us know what else is in?
Yeah, of course.
Inside.
So as you rightly mentioned, Armani's interviews in there, which is very good. It talks a lot about when he came through the academy at Southampton, which is obviously a well-renowned academy. I sort of wanted to understand why it's so highly rated, and he gave me his insights into that. Obviously, I'm going to give away everything that's in it. I done a little feature piece on the food park because I thought it'd be interesting for first-time fans to come in and sort of know about what we offer, not just in there but also in the kiosks here. There's a lot of food that's been added this season, and there's so much variety, isn't there? I mean, you go to a lot of grounds around the country and they don't offer what we do, and I think we should really champion that. So
you go to other grounds, you get a cheeseburger and chips if you like.
The
food park's a massive thing for us, and I think getting some coverage straight.
Yeah, and then there's an interesting piece from Michael Hamilton about the academy. Talks about our EFL end of season report from last season.
Okay.
There's some really good statistics in there which show we're moving in the right direction. You know, stuff like an academy player being in our starting 11 like every week almost. So yeah, there's loads of good stuff like that. There's the usual updates from the Dons Trust. Wish you have just restored the gates that used to be on the old Plough Lane that people will see as they come in the West Stand. And of course Dons Local Action Group, and never missing anyone else. Foundation, of course.
Yeah.
Their Womble Walks coming up, so that's something to look forward to. So yeah, packed with content, still £3, 80 pages. Go and buy it, because we want the programmes to survive as long as possible.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. Yes.
There we go.
There we go. Happy days.
Lovely stuff. Yeah, and obviously. Just looking to the game as well, you're able to get obviously W-Done coverage from. You can get it in this country as well, and you can watch the games abroad. Obviously, if you are an international viewer of the show, so don't forget to get that and get your Womble fix from 3 o'clock onwards.
Yeah, happy days.
Yeah. I think we might jump into some highlights from Wrexham, where obviously we drew 1-1 in the league a couple of weeks ago.
Mendy up again. Oh, he does have the pace. Past his man with ease. And they're arriving just into the back of the net. Elliot Lee. The man in blue. Tozzer will have to do it with his feet now. And the lapping run. And the cross. Dangerous cross. And almost turned home at the back post by Johnson. But the referee's whistle has been blown amid it all. And a penalty has been awarded to the home side here. Now let's get a look at this. It looks like Omar Bouguil is bundled over in some way. Al Hamadi to take. Oh, good save from Foster, whose penalty exploits came to the fore towards the end of last season. And again at the beginning of this one. They scored 2 late goals to turn it round against Coventry midweek. Can they find one here for a point? Well, they're going to be given a golden opportunity to find it. Clumsy challenge from Owen O'Connell on Pell. It looks a lot more clear-cut than the initial one given, which was missed by Wimbledon. Change of taker. Here's Tilly. That's how it's done. Oh, they end up in the back of the net 10 times out of 10. And Tilly G's up the crowd with time for a winner. There's Wimbledon's first goal in the league this season after a 0-0 draw against Grimsby in the opening day. And it's his first goal as well. Dispatched perfectly. Wrexham after they initially lost it. Dalby lays off his teammate, and that has to be parried. Good strike from Young.
Good touch from Bouguil. Out wide now to James Tilley. Goes inside. Clever ball over the top. This is brilliant football from AFC Wimbledon. And nobody in the middle attacked it. Ali Al Hamadi was the closest to it. Still not away. In it goes once more. That's a good save. And the rebound is blocked as well. James Tilley with the follow-up. It's a poor touch, but it breaks the way of Reed. Continues his run forward, and he slides on in behind. Is this the chance? It's Akinde. It's straight at the goalkeeper, and the rebound just about. It's given away, and there's gaps in the midfield now for Colchester, and AFC Wimbledon will look to exploit that. Here's the overlapping run of Tilley. There's numbers in the middle for Wimbledon, but he goes for goal towards the knee. Fevrier might fancy it up against this defender, you know. He does. He's got away from 2 of them, away from 3 of them, and the shot is lined up. Oh, and it hits the woodwork. Probably the best bit of football from the game. And we see a goal in this second half. Here's Little. Out wide to Josh Neufeld. That's some great pace. Left-footed cross towards the back post, and there's a tap-in for James Tilley. Right in front of those visiting supporters. And it couldn't have been much easier for him. The Wimbledon number 7 scores after some brilliant work out wide. Josh
there we go, that was obviously 2 games there. It was Colchester and also Wrexham. What we're going to do now is we're going to jump into an interview. I head down to the training ground on Wednesday to speak to Alex Bass, our new shot stopper, and that will be it for you now. For a little bit of team preview as we look to today's fixture against Forest Green, and then we'll be joining you guys later on at 5 o'clock or as many minutes added on for some post-match action, hopefully looking at a win. But yeah, so that Alex Bass interview just loading up now, and then we'll jump into that. And yeah, like I said, Jack Curry will be coming in for us. I think he's on his way up soon. We're just loading. So some technical issues there for you, but yeah, just while that interview loads, yeah, we're joined by Nick Jacob for a second whilst we
sort out these
for the interview just to load
other bits and pieces.
So Jack Curry will join us soon.
Okay.
And yeah, so obviously not featured just yet this season. Am I right in saying?
He hasn't, no. So we were worried about his absence on the opening day away at Grimsby, of course, when we were without him and Lee Brown. And but from what I've been told, actually looks like him out on the pitch there.
There we go.
Is that him? Looks like him.
Yeah, looks like him.
But yeah, we were saying worried about. Obviously, it sounds like he's if he's not kicking a ball yet, he's certainly active up down the training ground.
Yeah, sort of training. Him and Huss were going through their through their paces on,
right.
And then Paul Kalambayi looks training separately. I think so, maybe a bit of a closer stage to
of course
return to the squad than those two, but. Look at that, sort of 3 would have been first teamers last year, looking to get back in and to fight for their place. I think, we're playing as well as we are. 1 goal conceded, 3 clean sheets in the league, obviously.
It just shows you, we were saying earlier about the options on the bench, and that's without, as you say, Byler, Curry and Kalambayi. I mean, yeah, you're right, when they come back in, obviously we're going to pick up knocks throughout the season, injuries, suspensions, we're going to need those players, we're going to need these numbers. But again, it's light years away from last season in terms of options.
We've signed so well, and it's a fact of signing players that are proven and can do a job. Like obviously, you look at the signings of Alex Bass, very strong keeper on loan from 2 divisions above. Yeah. You've got James Tilley, obviously was doing it at Crawley last year. Obviously, Crawley did have a tough season, but he was still one of their standout players. And you look at sort of Ball, obviously Rochdale.
Netherfield, who was at Sutton, Bugle, Sutton last season.
Yeah, Omar Vigil, someone I've liked for ages, and I'm very happy we finally got him. I think he was what we needed. And obviously to complement we already had, so we had so many strengths in Ali, obviously Ali, and how can we forget obviously captain Jake Reeves signing?
Well, exactly.
What a story that was, him coming home.
Yeah, and you also forget that actually Armani Little is technically a new signing, because of course he was on loan last season with us.
To be fair, he's new with his new haircut, I think.
Do you know what, the hair, I was worried a little bit against Wrexham, because he didn't start the best, if I'm being honest with you. A lot of misplaced passes and stuff, and I'm thinking it was like the opposite sort of Samson effect. He'd grown his hair out and he'd lost his ability, but then he ever since then it's come back, and it's the Armani we remember from last season, like just the amount of energy he puts in.
I think him and Reeves, the amount of energy they've got, and also just, sorry to keep jumping topic to topic, but Jake Reeves, just thinking his man management is fantastic.
Yeah.
It's obviously something that will come up in the Alex Bass interview. You mentioned to him how important it is, because obviously Bass can't shout to the strikers from goal, so having sort of someone like Jake Reeves in the middle of the park is just so helpful. And I think we're seeing that strength from him and Armani sort of controlling the midfield, and it allows obviously with Joe Lewis and Ryan Johnson to step forward and really cover that midfield. There we go. Technical difficulties aside, we've managed to get the Alex Bass interview prepared for you now, and that'll be on screen now.
Joined by Alex Bass here at the Wimbledon training ground. Alex, you joined us 7 weeks ago now. It's been a busy 7 weeks. How are you finding it?
Yeah, no, it's been great so far. As I said, we've had a lot of games, a lot of things been happening. But yeah, I've been thoroughly enjoying it, and the boys are great. They've taken me in really well and really enjoying it.
Yeah, you join us obviously on a season-long loan from Sunderland. Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, Portsmouth beforehand. How you finding sort of the move? You're already a Southern boy, so it's not too far, moving down back sort of home way.
Yeah, no, definitely. It was one of the things that I thought about maybe a little bit when the move came about. Sunderland's obviously is a long way from home, being from down on the south coast, and this is probably an hour and a half max up the A3. So it was a great place to come, and I'm really enjoying my footballer so far.
Fantastic. And how did the move come about? Sort of what was the, if you can disclose, what was the sort of processes in place? Was it relatively quick, or was it a slow burner?
No, it was it was quite a slow burner in the end, to be honest. The situation at Sunderland was they needed to get a keeper in, so I was kind of hanging around a little bit there for their end. Came up, they spoke to the goalkeeping coach at Sunderland, and he really wanted me to come down here. He knew of Bezo quite a lot, and I think they went on a course in the summer, weirdly, together. So they spoke about me then, and things obviously just kept rolling from there, and here I are today.
You mentioned Bezo, obviously a massive sort of figure, especially for goalkeepers that come in. A lot of loanies we have mentioned him later on down the line. I think Aaron Ramsdale, definitely one of them that mentions him still. Talk to us about him. What's he like?
Yeah, he's a great guy. You can see that everywhere you go. He's infectious. I say it all the time. Every time anyone asks about me, he's infectious. His attitude to training is phenomenal. He makes you work really hard, and he's just a great guy. He really cares about you on and off the pitch. He met my girlfriend at one of the away games in pre-season, and just little things like that. He just makes you feel really welcome. And all in all, he's just a top guy.
It's amazing. And you mentioned being welcomed. Sort of who have you gelled with most in the squad? Did you know anyone before you came?
I obviously know Brownie from Portsmouth connections before, so he was one that I knew of. Armani I knew a little bit about. I've played against him a little bit. He lives in Portsmouth, which wasn't far from me. And then just everyone really. You get to know everyone as much as you can in the group, and you just build connections, and when things are going well like they are at the moment, you just got to keep riding them, and everyone just gets on so well here. The team spirit's phenomenal at the moment, and long may it continue.
Absolutely. You mentioned that team spirit. I think looking back to the last weekend, Sutton, what an atmosphere that was. Being in the ground, it felt electric. And what was sort of, if you're being in goal, having that from behind you, what was that like? Yeah,
definitely. The fans were excellent. Turned out, and obviously it's a little bit of a local derby, and to get that follow-in away from home was phenomenal. And in the second half, you could just see it. They were behind that goal, and it was just almost sucking the ball into the net at times. Everyone says it when you shoot to your away end, that people behind the goal just pull it in, and that's what it felt like in that second half. And they were excellent, and long may it continue, and hopefully we just keep playing the way we are, and more will keep turning up.
Absolutely. And you look at that sort of Plough Lane now, trying to almost make that a fortress. We've had unbeaten this year in the league. How important has that been for a start, and how have you found settling in with a new back line and sort of those new players?
Yeah, I think that you look at the club, there's probably 9-10 of us, I'm not sure exactly, I think it's 10 now, new signings from what there was last season. And it's a back line that has been kind of not thrown together necessarily, but in pre-season there was a few changes, and now you look at us and we look really solid. Even the first game of the season, Jono having to fill in at left back, there's just little things that have been thrown at us the whole time, and we've just overcome them every time. And the more and more we play, the better we get together, and the stronger connections we keep building, and we know each other's games now, and that's the most important thing. And when you build that relationship with people, when you know their game inside out as well as they know in yours, it's really good for the base of the team to keep us moving forward.
Absolutely. And looking at those new signings, 10 new signings is quite a lot to come into a new dressing room. Let's look at that dynamic. Sort of, who's the funniest? Who's the one that's sort of taking the lead in the dressing room on match days and things like that?
I think it's quite a simple answer. Pelly's the one for that. He's one of a kind. I've never met anything like it in my life, and he's great for even myself being a new player coming into it. He really brings you in, and he takes on that role of class clown really well. And there's a lot of great people, there's a lot of good experience, and I think that always helps. Like, they've been around so many different dressing rooms that you've got to have those people in your dressing room. So your Pellys, your Pierceys, your Brownies, your people like that, your Reevesies, people like that, they just gel that team together really well. And when you've got that in your core, the younger boys start coming out of their shells a little bit more, and just loads of little things that just go on that just brings everyone closer together. And if you have that off the pitch, it transfers onto the pitch, and you start, as I said, with the back four. You build connections and you understand what other people want, and that's just the way that the gaffer likes to build it. He always talks about relationships on and off the pitch, and that's what you've got to work on, and we'll continue to work on it because it seems to be working on the pitch.
You mentioned one man there, Jake Reeves, so I just want to go back to, I went to one of the pre-season games and you hear him, he's so vocal, sort of controlling that midfield. You know, as a goalkeeper, you can't obviously get your instructions to the striker. How is it important to have that man in the middle, sort of just organising that pack for you to sort of to your distribution?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, being the captain and being that pivotal role in kind of the holding midfield role, it really is great to have such an experienced player who has played the amount of games that he has and have that experience. You can trust him on the ball. You give him the ball, and you know that he's just gonna deal with it, and he's gonna find the right pass, just because that's the type of pro that he is. And he really is great. As you said, I like to organise my back four, but I can't really, when there's 10,000 at Plough Lane, you know, the strikers aren't going to hear me. But Reeves, he understands my game, and everyone understands my game, so that if we need to move a message, you kind of go through him. And as you said, he's a great organiser on the pitch. You always hear him. He always wants to get the ball. He's always pulling people in, always getting people next to him where they need to be, and he's just a top pro, really.
Absolutely. And you mentioned sort of organising the back line. 3 clean sheets and 1 goal conceded. How satisfying has that been for you, sort of coming into a new team and really stamping your mark?
Yeah, definitely. Obviously, as a goalkeeper, you're judged on how many clean sheets and things you have, and to have the start we've had has been excellent, and long may it continue. Like, the boys in front of me are doing really well as well. I think Jono's, God knows how many headers he won at the weekend. It was frightening, really, how many balls came in the box and he was just clearing, and little things like that. Like, the first people I always tend to go up to at the end of the game, if we've done well and kept a clean sheet, is my 2 centre halves, because it's not just me. Like, they take a lot of pride in clean sheets, and as you said, the one goal in 4 games has been great so far, and like, we'll just keep pushing, because if we can keep clean sheets at one end, we know that we've got boys at the other end that can score and win us the game.
Absolutely. You mentioned on the other end, James Tilley. Just quickly on him, how fantastic has he been for us this year?
Yeah, crazy. He reminds me of an Iron Robin when he cuts in on that left foot. He just seems to know where the back of the goal is at the moment, and he said if you get even in training, when you see him cutting on that left, you're always worried that he's going to do something and he's going to score a goal, because at the moment he is just that good, and he's right. He is a bit like all the boys at the moment. We're riding on that wave of, we've had a great start, and he scored a couple of goals, and he just keeps scoring, and hopefully that will keep going, and we just keep building that momentum.
Just now looking at sort of match day travel and sort of chemistry amongst the team, who do you bunk with on away days? Who sort of, is it a goalkeepers union or is it other people among the squad?
No, it's a weird one. I've been with goalkeepers before, but there's always that worry if one of us gets ill as a goalkeeper, and you're in the room together, it's never really ideal, because there's never that person that, like, there in the background. So say you're both ill, there's going to be no one to really go and goal. So they don't do that here. I think I had my own room for the first game, which is something that I had last year, which sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I feel like I've integrated myself well into the group, and as I said, I don't necessarily have a roomie at the moment, but we'll see where that goes.
Let's get into some match day stuff as well, just as a way to round off. What's your go-to breakfast?
I'm always scrambled eggs on toast with a bit of ketchup. Two bits of toast, four scrambled eggs, a bit of ketchup on top.
Very nice. That's in half time. And are you quiet? Are you fueling? Are you chatting to everyone? What sort of the?
I'm not a massive shouter. In the dressing room, I wouldn't go in and start like losing my head. If there's something that I feel like I need to say, then I'll say it. But I think times have changed in football now. You come in and there's a couple of people that will, for example, if you're 3-0 down at half time, then there will be things that will need to be said. But at the moment, so far, we've come in and we felt like we've been in a good place at half time all the time. So I think for the moment I've kind of left it, and the manager comes in and says what he's got to say, and then you naturally go off into your little individual groups. So I might have a few things that I want to say to the centre halves, for example, or the fullbacks, or if I'm kicking up to Omar or something like that, you go and have your individual chats. You don't really have it as a whole team. I'd say I'm more one of those people that if I've got something in the back of my head, I'd rather go and tell it to the person than do it in front of the whole group.
Fantastic. And then, we've got quite a busy schedule coming up, looking to obviously Forest Green at home this Saturday, the big one, Chelsea in the Cup. How would you wind down after a game? What is sort of the procedures when you get home? Is it Netflix? Is it straight to bed? What is it?
I like to go out for a meal. If I've played and I've done well and we've got a little bit of time, me and the missus love to go out for a meal. We've found some lovely spots around close by, which is always nice, and having London so close just up the road is good as well, to go and have some food. And yeah, it depends. If you've got a clear week, I don't mind having a couple of glasses of wine and things like that, but I'm not a massive drinker, but don't mind having one or two here and there. But I'm quite a chilled one. Nice meal somewhere and a few drinks, and then back home for me really, and chill. Sometimes watch the football. Don't mind watching a bit of match of the day, see how the Prem games have gone and things like that. But yeah, I'm not. It's probably about it really. Wouldn't really say I have many crazy things that I get up to when I'm away from the place.
What's the best restaurant you found so far locally, or in London as well?
I weirdly enough went to Megan's in Wimbledon Village last weekend. Class as, what do you call it, a posh kebab maybe or something like that, which thoroughly enjoyed. That was good fun. So I'd have to say that one, because I haven't really been to that many places yet. So yeah.
While Ali decides to jump in there at the end, we'll
put a shirt on.
we'll wrap up there, I think. Absolute pleasure. Thank you for joining us.
Cheers.
There we go. That was my midweek chat with Alex Bass, covering all sorts. Ended up speaking about posh kebabs in Wimbledon Village, and then obviously interrupted by topless Ali Al-Hamidi. We're now joined by Paul Kalambayi and obviously Nick Draper to my right. Paul, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
No worries. And hey, how's your recovery coming along?
Yeah, I'm recovering quite well. I'm at the back end of it, so I've got a few more boxes to tick, and then I should be back. So yeah, exciting times.
Fantastic. And how have you found is it difficult? We spoke to Harry Pearl when he was obviously injured last year, so you can feel quite sort of on your own. How's it been sort of getting him back with the boys and that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I've done a warm-up with them. I've been doing a warm-up with them for about 2 weeks, which is exciting. But I've had difficult times when I was just in the gym by myself. But I'm at the exciting end of it, like I said, so everything's a positive from now on. And obviously seeing the boys doing well, like, motivates you to work even harder. So yeah, it's all beneficial.
Absolutely. We were saying just before, weren't we, how much of a buzz there is, and how good is that sort of, I mean, it must be quite annoying watching on, seeing all sort of but how's the buzz been in the training ground?
I mean, the boys are on it. There's a lot more players in the gym this year than I've ever seen. Everyone's working hard. We've got quite a young team, so everyone's pushing to be the best version of themselves. In terms of the buzz, I'm talking training. The standards we've set for ourselves is high. Obviously, there's clarity in how we want to play, and like the gaffer's positive, and the message is passed on to us, and we're obviously replicating on the pitch. Yeah, like the moods right now is like the best it's ever been. Obviously, we're doing well as well, which shows. But yeah, I feel like we're more of a team, so we're sticking together, and it can only get better. So yeah.
And we had a fantastic win last weekend. You were just talking to us before we went live with your viewing point from the Sutton game, and how was that watching on the sideline?
Yeah, like watching from the sideline was quite an amazing game. Like obviously we know what happened with Sutton last year, so we really wanted to beat them, especially away. Yeah, I was sitting like close to the Sutton fans because the family tickets is there. And when the first goal went in, I like went to jump and realised where I was and kept it quiet. But after the third, I couldn't hold myself. I was literally up there bouncing, and I didn't care anymore. I'm like, yeah, we've done it. There you go, 3-0. But yeah, like it just shows like from my perspective, like the boys that are not playing are supporting each other. We're a real group. Everyone's together, and that's what you want. You want your team to be together. Whoever goes in there, whoever's wearing that shirt, to represent the club to the best of their abilities. So yeah, we're doing that.
And talk about watching the games from various vantage points. Obviously, at Plough Lane today. I mean, what do you prefer actually? Do you prefer playing at Plough Lane or prefer away from home? What's the...
Definitely Plough Lane. Like definitely Plough Lane. Like Wrexham, I sat all the way upstairs. I've never heard anything like it when we scored. Like honestly, the noise, and it's just this year's special, and you can see it. Like the fans are really with us, and like I thank them for that, because it does give you an extra push when your fans are pushing you. You obviously pushing each other. It's like it's the extra man. So yes, so far the fans been unbelievable. The stadium's rocking every game, and it's like it's exciting to watch, and it's exciting. I can't wait to be back. So yeah,
I bet. Yeah.
And how close do you think you are for sort of recovery? Without obviously not exact days, but you said you're in the back stages.
Yeah.
Is that sort of back on the grass, back fully training soon, or is it still a few weeks before that?
I'm not sure in terms of stages, but I know that I'm definitely nearly ready to train with a group. So I've been training by myself with Chris, the sports science, and he's literally been killing me every day with fitness. I've just been running, and I just been running, getting fitter, and obviously that's what I want. And he pushes me, and like he's the best at what he does. So yeah, like I'm definitely nearly ready to be back with the boys, but I'm not sure about the timeline yet.
No worries. Should we jump into a little bit of team news? We have a little look at the team before obviously kick-off in about 15 minutes. There we go. Obviously Alex Bass in goal. I mean, it's unchanged. So Ryan Johnson, Joe Lewis, Isaac Ogundere, Lee Brown, Jake Reeves, Armani Little, Omabi Jewell, Josh Nerfield, James Tilley, and Ali Al Hamadi. Obviously, look at that strike force. Are you looking forward to going back in training against Omabi Jewell? He's James Tilley said midweek in the podcast. No, who was it? It said that he's the last person you want to sort of fight against as a centre back. Is Omabi Jewell?
Yeah. Like we've had it at Sutton last year. Right. Gaffer came in the change room fuming at me. All sorts. It's like, you're letting him beat you. Yeah, I went in the second half and I told him straight to his face, I'm like, look, you're not playing this half. And yeah, we've had it. So when we first saw each other, we hugged it out because I know how hard it is to play against. Ali's pace is something else. Like, he's electric quick. So Nerfield as well, electric quick. Tilley's tricky, comes in, one on the left foot. Solid in the midfield and the back line. Honestly, you're gonna want some more. So we look solid. But yeah, I wouldn't want to play against Ali. I'm not chasing him down the channel.
No.
Sorry, I'm sorry, but nah.
It'll be a long afternoon. James Tilley, as you mentioned there, come in, hit the ground running. But the big question is, of course, who has the better song, James Tilley or yourself? The better of the terrace songs.
It's got to be me. Yeah, it's got to be me. I've got to give it to myself.
Okay. We need to hear that one again. We need to get you back so we can get that one sung again. I miss singing that one.
It's got to be the best song, surely.
Oh, I thought so. I must admit, I'm partial to that one, yeah.
Chuck Curry was singing it to me in a car. No, I'm joking. Well, yeah.
In the change room, yeah, I'm sure they're all singing it all the time, but yeah.
I mean, there's plenty to sing about at the moment. So,
there is.
Yeah, I think, and there's been quite a creativity with some chants as well. I think there's some new ones that keep popping up. So, yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, we'll hear some serious chances today when we're 3-0 up at half time.
Noise. We'll see.
Yeah, can we get a score prediction from you before you go?
I think I'm feeling a clean sheet. I'm saying 2-0 to us.
Okay.
Yeah.
Goal scorers?
I'm saying Ali because he's due one. And I think Tills will just keep scoring every game. So, safest bet.
Nice. Just got one last quick question, actually, because that's actually something that Rob Boyce just off camera was inquiring. We saw about today. We're warming up differently this year. Is there any sort of we're warming up at the opposite half, as it were, at Plough Lane? Is there any thought behind that, or is that just the way it's fallen?
I would like to think we want to shoot against the away fans just in case we miss the target to piss them off. Apart from that, there's nothing major. That's the only thing I can think about.
Cool, nice one.
Nice one. No worries. What we'll do is we'll jump into, obviously previously mentioned Sutton highlights when we beat them 3-0 last Saturday at Gander Green Lane.
Brilliant work to hold up play that by Al Hamadi. Making his way into the penalty area, and there is a flick on. It might fall to Al Hamadi that just couldn't get it under control and get his. Brown forced to turn back. It's a decent delivery into the box too, and just for a second you thought that was creeping in. Tilley going up for it, didn't come away with it. And everybody in a white shirt has to scamper back to support the defensive effort once again. Tipped away by Bass. Still a chance on the follow-up, and it's off the upright. Through for Collie. FC Wimbledon have been quiet so far in this second half, but they're trying to cause a stir here. Al Hamadi pulls it across. And struck by Tilley, might get another chance at it too. He's going to have to look for support. He has got it. Looking to go alone. Oh, it's off the crossbar. Surely finished off. Unbelievable miss. Al Hamadi from about 3 yards away. Very good position for a set piece. Not a bad one in either. And somehow Bass keeps it out. Second chance. Good ball towards the far post, nodding down. And it finds a way through. And it's the substitute, Harry Pell, with 10 minutes to go, that perhaps seals this victory on the road. Gets above 2 defenders, nods it down into the ground. Rose can't keep it out at the near post. And that could be job done for the visitors. Their sensational start to the season looks like it's going to continue. Given away cheaply too, just a scuff ball. Sums up the Sutton United afternoon, really. Could get worse here as well. James Tilley with the icing on the cake. He's been threatening to do that all game. It's a wonderful effort. Just steps inside, allowed to drift inside from that right flank. He's got so much support too, but he wanted to go alone, as he has done all game. And he finally gets his goal. And the job's a good one for the travelling fans. That's the full-time whistle. AFC Wimbledon victorious on the road. Their sensational start to the campaign continues, unbeaten now in 5 games in all competitions for Johnny Jackson.
Derby day.
There we go. Highlights there from a very, very good victory against Sutton United. And yeah, there we go. Obviously, Paul Kalambayi was fantastic to speak to. So a massive thank you for him coming on. Yeah, so obviously we were all at Sutton. What were your sort of key takeaways from it?
I think big takeaway I liked from the Sutton game is we really battled. I think last year there was a bit of a soft underbelly. And, you know, against Colchester, you know, we played really good football. But I think Sutton, with the wind, we had the battle. And I think we won the battle ultimately, you know. And then with that little moments of quality with Tilley for that 3rd goal, bringing it down. Messi-esque with that touch, shall I say. You know, to really show that quality to put a 3-0 victory, rubber stamp it, you know.
Obviously the 3rd goal, I think, but I think Rob's right. I think the fact we had to battle, we had to earn the right to play, and we did that. And I mean, trying to think back, I can't remember now the last time we won by a 3-goal margin. I mean, at all, let alone away from home. I think it was 2019. I think the last time we actually won away from home by 3 goals in front of fans. And I think that was just, we spoke at the start of the season, what did we want from this season? Not sure how much the changes were going to sort of turn us around. What did we finish 4th bottom last season? Was it realistic that we were going to have such a turnaround that we could be aiming for a top 7 finish? But not being sure about that. With the other thing we wanted from this season, I think, was some memories, because last season we were a bit thin on the ground for actually games you look back on and remember.
We've got memories this year.
Already.
Unfortunately, I couldn't make that. I was working, but some of the stories I've heard or just watching the highlights back, it just looks so good. And I think the noise, as we sort of mentioned watching the highlights, how loud it was at Sutton, and when that 3rd goal goes in, the eruption. And after the game, you stand in the south stands, everyone's serenading the players, and it's just lovely to see.
Yeah.
And I think this year could be a good one for, you know, we've got some fantastic hits, we've got some fantastic chants, and there's a great energy around the squad. So yeah, really, really, it's a fun place to be, Plough Lane.
It is.
And every other end of the country when we're playing away. So
yes, I mean, it is a fun place to be. What I would say is that we've got a train strike today, and I'm not sure if that's making the crowd a little bit fashionably late this afternoon, because we're slowly filling up here. But we shall see.
What we'll do whilst we're slowly filling up, I think we'll go and jump into our seats very shortly. But what we'll get first is Rob, a prediction from yourself.
Yeah, I think prediction for me, I feel confident that we're going to win. I think it's going to be 3-1. I think, you know, we've kept quite a lot of clean sheets, but just the law of averages, shall we say. You know, I think we're due to concede one. We've rode our luck a little bit at times with Colchester and Sutton hitting the post, but I think we'll run out winners ultimately 3-1.
3-1, I like
3-1.
that.
I'm not sure Forest Green will want to be losing again. I think they're going to be really up for this one today, and we talked about their 2 strikers up front.
Maintain their 100% away record.
I'll maintain their 100% away record. So you never know. I think the key thing, I think, is it's been a great start for us, but we don't want to get carried away and think that, you know, if we drop points today, I mean, it could be a draw today, whatever. It's not to suddenly think, you know, it's the end of the world or anything like that. And similarly, we don't want to put any pressure on ourselves.
It's a long season.
It's a long season. I think there is a little bit of expectation here, which is the first time I can remember for a long time coming to a Plough Lane with an expectation of a win, and that can be a difficult.
It was really good. So
well, true.
Very positive. I mean, what was it, 2 seasons ago, we went 28 without a win. I did turn over a week going, oh, we're going to win today.
Yeah, true.
But,
I forgot to add with my 3-1 prediction. I think an Ali Brace is due a goal.
I'm here for
and I think once he gets 1, I think he gets 2.
Oh, 1 brings 2.
What a prediction.
That old football cliche.
Yeah, it does.
I've missed them.
What's your prediction, Tom?
It's going to sound outrageous for 3-0, I think, again.
Oh, we are confident.
I'm thinking James Tilley, the man himself.
I was going to say, there's Nick telling us to play it down a little bit.
Like, no,
don't get too disappointed.
I'm full of energy, I'm excited. And then I think, you know what? I think Omar Jules going to add to his goal from the cup and get one in the league.
Okay.
Yeah, 3-0 and good vibes all round.
Nice. And then a win at Chelsea on Wednesday, if we see.
5-0 this.
Easy.
Already done.
Easy.
Next round. Anyways, that aside,
cool.
we will, obviously the players getting ready there in the tunnel, as you can see on screen. We're going to head off to our seats, I believe, and give the show a round off now. Yeah, thank you very much for joining us. We'll be back at full time for some post-match reviews. Hopefully positivity as the Dons take on Forest Green Rovers, and we'll hopefully come back with 3 points. It's been a pleasure. Thank you both, lads, and huge thanks to Kalambayi as well. And we'll see you very shortly.
Congratulations.